Hello and welcome to my TBR for the Shardathon, which is a readathon that I am running throughout the month of October. If you want to know any more about Shardathon or you would like to hear some of my reading recommendations for the various prompts and characters, I will link the playlist just here for you and you can go and check out all of those videos. By the time you're watching this, Shardathon starts in just a few days, so I am super excited and let's get into it. I am reading for Vin, who is not just one of my favourite characters in the series but one of my favourite characters of all time. Vin is just such a strong and feisty character and she's been through so much and I just love her, so it was natural for me to pick Vin. The first book that I'm reading though is the group book, which is The 11th Metal, which I have here in this bind up of the Cosmere short stories Arcanum Unbounded. The 11th Metal is basically a prequel to the Mistborn series. I won't say much more about it than that, but it's completely fine for anyone to read, whether you've read Mistborn before or not. So getting into my specific TBR, we're starting off with Iron, Pulling Metal, reading a new book, and I've interpreted this as a relatively new release book. As with all of these prompts, you can feel free to interpret them however you like. So the one I'm going for is Cinderella is Dead by Kalynn Bayron, which only just came out I think in August, and this one follows a character named Sophia, which is a bit weird because I haven't read a book with a character that has my name as their name, but it's told in first person anyway, so it'll be fine. This follows Sophia, who lives in the world of Cinderella 200 years after the events of Cinderella happened, and now society chooses men and women that are going to get married on the basis of balls, and Sophia plus the descendant of Cinderella herself are not particularly happy about this setup, and so they're going to team up and take the system down. I can't wait. I feel like this is going to be such a feisty book and just perfect for Vin. Next up was Steel, Push Metal, a book that you've been pushing back on your TBR for a while, and honestly there were so many books I could have pulled from for this one, but I decided to go with An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which I have had on my TBR since summer of last year, or physically I've had it on my radar TBR for longer than that, but on my physical TBR since last summer, and I just need to get to it already. The last book is already out, or I think it will be out by the time I read this, so it's like the perfect time to start this series. I feel like this is a fantasy series that I don't really know that much about, to be honest, and I kind of want to just leave it that way. Next up we have Tin, Heightens the Senses, a book that will make me angry. I've decided to go with On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I read The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas maybe a month or two ago and it definitely made me angry, and this follows similar themes, so naturally it will make me angry as well. The protagonist in this one is called Bree and she wants to be a rapper, and especially so that she can help her family who are on the verge of homelessness. So lots of really difficult themes in this one, but I am looking forward to it as much as you can look forward to anything that you know is going to be a frustrating read. Next up is Pewter, Increases Physical Power, a book that you can read in one sitting. For this I'm going with The Giver by Lois Lowry. This might be a bit of a challenge. It is actually over 200 pages, but I will be listening to the audiobook, so hopefully I will be able to read it all in one sitting, or at least all in one day, which is basically the same thing. I'm not gonna stop myself from having dinner in between or something, for example, but this is another one that's been on my TBR for a while, on my physical TBR since last Christmas, and it's a dystopian story where one person is responsible for housing the memories of this entire village, city, community, I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to this. Next up we have Brass, Soothes Emotions, Have a Snack. So this prompt isn't really intended to have a read associated with it, but I wanted to read a book along with my snack, so I've put a book onto my TBR for this particular prompt. The book I've chosen is Fortuna Sworn by K.J. Sutton, which is a dark fae fantasy romance type story, and I don't really know much more about it than that, but that's enough. I love that premise and I can't wait to read it. Next up we have Zinc in Flames Emotions, read a book with a mental health themes, and for this one I am reading the Thoughtful Book Club's book for the month of October, which is The Wicker King by Kay Enkram, which follows a character that suffers with their mental health and another character that normally doesn't, but then starts to experience hallucinations, and the pages of the book get progressively darker as this character struggles more and more with their mental health while the other character tries to help them through that situation, and I think this is going to be a really interesting read. Now this part of my TBR gets a little bit complicated, so stay with me. So the next prompt is Copper, Hyde Powers, read a book from Tensoon's list, and all of the prompts have a prompt that leads you to one of the other lists, so you can pick whichever prompt from that list that you want, but also technically you can pick a prompt from any list because you can just circle back around as many times as you want to get to the prompt that you want to do, which is kind of what I've done. So I went to Tensoon's pewter prompt, Ferrochemical Physical Powers, which was to read a prompt from Sazed's list. So I ended up on Sazed's list, and I could circle right back around to Finn's list if I wanted to, but I did actually want to read a prompt from Sazed's list, so this is how I went about doing that. And I actually also ended up on Sazed's pewter prompt, funnily enough, which is Store Strength, reread a favourite. And with book 4 in the Stormlight Archive coming out in November, I have actually started my reread of the series, and I'm aiming to reread one of the Stormlight books each month. So while I'm filming this, it's September, so I am rereading The Way of Kings, and so for this prompt in October I will be rereading Words of Radiance, which is the second book in the Stormlight Archive. Yes, it's a chunker, but I'll be listening to it on audio, and I listen when I'm walking to work, when I'm cooking. I listen to audiobooks all the time, and although it's like a 45 or something hour audiobook, it won't be a problem. I'll get through that in a month without too much stress. So I'm really enjoying rereading the Stormlight Archive, and I'm excited to continue. And my final prompt is Bronze, Hear Powers, listen to an audiobook, and for this one I am going with A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is just one of many books that I want to read, and I do listen to audiobooks a lot, and this is just one that I fancied picking up. This could change, I might change my mind, but I am really keen to read this one, and I've been avoiding all the reviews and things about it. I know some people aren't keen, but beyond that I've been avoiding reviews, so I would like to be able to watch some of those reviews, so I would like to read it so that I can watch some of those reviews. So this is the final book on my TBR for the Shardathon, and to be honest I might read more. Well, I'll definitely read more than this in October. I might see if I can pick up some prompts from some of the other lists as well. But if you've got your TBR already, let me know what's on it. Let me know who you're reading for. If you've done a video, please leave a link to it in my comments section. I would love to see your TBR. If you have one on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere, just share all the links down in the comments section. I would really love to see what you guys have come up with. I'm really looking forward to Shardathon. I really hope that you will join me. I have lots of fun stuff planned for the month, including read-ins and live shows and giveaways. So that fun stuff is all to come, and I will be announcing all of that probably on Instagram very soon if I haven't already. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks! Bye!